So good morning everybody and welcome to Strengthjournal episode 22. And today I'm taking you with me on a leg day later, but for now we're going to start with breakfast. So before you do anything in the morning, before you start your day, I would highly recommend to drink just 2 glasses of water because, well, you have been sleeping for 7, 8 or 9 hours, so you're pretty much dehydrated when you wake up. So I would say it's definitely a good idea to just drink 1 to 2 glasses of water right in the morning. That's what I'm about to do now. So for breakfast today, we're having pancakes, protein pancakes, and I'm going to show you how I make them. It's a pretty simple recipe. 2 eggs for now, which we are just going to put into a little bowl. And 2. I don't know if you are the same, but when I'm cooking, I really don't like to have like messy hands. So to have like stuff on my hands, I always have to wash them after everything that I like touch in the kitchen. And after that, you just have to whisk the eggs. So I found a recipe online. I think in the original recipe, you would put in like 4 eggs, but it's like for 2 portions, and I'm only making 1. Then after that, we need some skyr, but you could also use any other type of yogurt. I just really like to use skyr. And we're just putting in like one tiny scoop. Then after that, we're putting in some protein powder. You can use any type of protein powder. I actually never used this flavor before for the protein pancakes, so this is stracciatella. I don't know how this is going to taste with this flavor, but you could just use any type of flavor you like. So putting in 1 scoop of protein powder as well. There we go. And last but not least, we're also putting in some, I guess, sugar alternative for extra sweetness. Now, put it in as well. So we've got 2 eggs, a tiny scoop of skyr, protein powder, 1 scoop, and some sugar. Then you just have to mix everything. I like to be very careful that I don't spill anything while doing that, so I like to do it above the sink. It should look, wait, there. So it should probably look something like that. It will also depend on what kind of protein powder flavor you use. So usually I use something like chocolate, for example, or vanilla, and then it will also look different. But yeah, now comes the fun part. So I'm just gonna change the camera angle a bit. And that should be about perfect. So we have a pan. I'm gonna put in a little bit of oil. You don't have to put too much. I think a little bit is just more than enough for these pancakes. Just a tiny drop. That's about right. I'm gonna turn it on. And while that is starting, I'm cleaning up some other stuff. So when I make food, I always like to clean up the stuff that I don't need anymore, so that I can save time for later, basically.
Few moments later. 1 hour later.
Why does it take so long today to start? So time to put in the pancakes. So I personally prefer to do smaller or to make smaller pancakes, but you could also just make like bigger ones, I guess. First one. I don't know if you can see the pancake. And I probably should get about like 5-ish pancakes out of that bowl. What do you call that? Out of the paste? I don't know. Out of the thing. Sometimes I do mess up when it comes to flipping them around at the right time. Sometimes I'm spot on, and sometimes they break. But in the end, they always taste good, so that's the most important thing. I'm not a professional cook or food artist or anything. So let's see if I can flip that now. I will try to show you how I do it. That's here. Let's see how the first one's gonna turn out. That's what I mean with breaking, but it looks pretty good, I would say. They're pretty much spot on. So I'm just gonna make the rest of the pancakes now, and then I'm gonna show you the final results in the end. So this is the final result. I think it looks pretty good, and then also the pancakes are very fluffy. I also cut up some banana, and that's just some syrup. So let's have a little taste test, shall we? So let's get a knife and a fork. Just gonna cut a little piece of the top one. Okay, definitely tastes very good. The syrup is also new for me, so before I used a different kind of syrup, but I like it. And it also looks like pretty... I'm gonna clean up the stuff before I eat. And then I'm gonna have my breakfast, and then it's time to go to the gym. So it is time to go to the gym now. It is raining again, like the last time. So I hope that you can hear me well while I'm driving to the gym. So let's go. I want to give you a little, I guess, training and diet update. So guys, my cut is finally over. I'm really happy that it is over. So I've been cutting for 6 weeks till, yeah, I guess the end of last week. And I've started at around 77/78 kg. And now I'm down to 70 kg. So I dropped around 7 to 8 kilograms in 6 weeks, which is quite a lot, but that was intentional. So I went for a pretty aggressive calorie deficit with the intention of not having to cut for a very long time, and that worked out really well. So I would say that my cut was a success. I will probably put up some pictures of my final physique, the photos which I took yesterday. And yeah, so it was a success, but it was also quite tough, especially more towards the end. So I just started to think more about food and just was a little bit more tired overall. And yeah, so it was definitely tough. And I'm also not sure if I will use the same approach the next time that I go into a cutting phase. But just overall, the results were very good. But I'm still happy that my cut is over now, and yesterday I started my bulk. So my goal is to gain around 10 kg in a year, so in 12 months, which is, I would say, like a moderate rate of weight gain, which fits my needs perfectly. So that's what I'm shooting for. I'm really excited to see what like the upcoming months will bring in terms of like my results in the gym, progress, muscle building and everything, and just overall as energy. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. My goal will be to build as much muscle as possible while also getting stronger at the, I guess, just at basic movements. So I want to get strong at my weighted calisthenics, so weighted pull-ups, weighted dips, but also my freestanding handstand push-ups. But I also want to get stronger at like the, I guess you could say, the gym basics, so the bench press, Romanian deadlifts, squats, etc. But also some other just dumbbell exercises. Just get stronger overall, I would say, and just learn the basic gym movement patterns, or the basic weightlifting movement patterns, I would say. So that's gonna be my goal. And I'm definitely looking forward to how the progress is gonna go. I'm definitely gonna share a lot of my training and what I eat with you, and just show you how my training is going, how progress is going. And you will be able to, yeah, just see my strength journey, which in the end is like the goal of my channel, is to share what I'm doing and also give you some tips or some advice for how you could approach your own strength journey. Yeah. So that is basically what I want to do here. I'm really not used to like talking to a camera, or not even talking to a camera, but just like filming myself while I'm driving and also trying to like explain stuff and everything. So that's kind of something new to me, but I really enjoy like this vlog format. especially also the cooking part. So I really enjoy like filming my cooking and just like I guess my food and everything. So today on the plan is legs, so a nice leg day. We're gonna do some Romanian deadlifts, we're getting split squats, and also a brutal superset for the quads and hamstrings. So I guess we'll see each other after the training. So let's talk about the workout. So it's a little bit later now, and I wasn't able to record the commentary for the workout after the workout itself because my camera had no battery left. So that's why I'm doing it now. And while I'm talking about my workout, I will prepare my food for lunch. So today I'm making a tuna sandwich, I guess. So yeah, I'm definitely hungry. Can't wait to eat. But let's talk about the training first. Let's just grab I'm hungry. Let's just grab all the stuff that I need. So we need tuna, some red onions, and the rest of the stuff I'm gonna take out later. So today was leg day, and I started with just a little warm-up. So I did 5 minutes of Stairmaster. I really like to warm up with Stairmaster because, especially before lower body days, because I feel like it warms up your quads, your hip flexors, and it's just a great way for me to warm up. And I also did some Cossack squats before I start with the first exercise, and Cossack squats really help to open up your hips. And what is also great about them is that it's a movement in the frontal plane. So most of the stuff that we do in our training is more in the sagittal plane, which means just front to back. But the Cossack squat, you're moving side to side, which is something we rarely do. So it's cool to implement some of that, at least in your warm-up. So then I start with the first exercise, which is the Romanian deadlift. Today I managed 3 sets of 8 with 105 kg for a RPE of roughly 7 to 8, which I'm really happy about because that's like 5 kg more than last time. The Romanian deadlift is a completely new movement to me. So my technique right now isn't on point. So I start with doing a couple of warm sets, just to find my groove, to find my technique, and just to warm up everything. And the way I approach my warm sets is that I start light, do more reps, go higher in weight, and decrease the reps till I reach the desired working weight. So the RDL is, I think, probably one of the best hip hinge movements that you can do. It works your hamstrings, glutes, and spinal erectors, and you will also get some stimulus on your upper back. And I personally just really enjoy the movement. But like I said, my technique isn't quite on point yet. So if you have any tips for the RDL, feel free to drop them down below in the comment section. I'm really grateful for anyone who can help me out with this movement, because it's kind of a difficult movement to do. It looks quite simple, it's just like picking or just hinging from the hips and going up and down basically, but it is really technical. And I would say like the most important thing that I would focus on, and that I still have to focus on more, is really hinging from the hips and not just rounding your back downwards. So you really want to think about pushing your hips back, keeping your back like nice and flat, and then going back up. But you will see, especially in my first working set, that I still have the tendency, especially towards the end of my set, to round my back a bit. So in general, there's nothing wrong with rounding your back, it's not dangerous, but you just have to be mindful about the loading. So there's a difference between rounding your back while doing a deadlift with 100 kg and doing something like a Jefferson curl with just like 20 kg. There's a big difference between those two things. In a deadlift, or any kind of heavy hip hinge, we want to use a technique which feels good for us and which is efficient to move a lot of weight, if that is the goal. So I would say it's basically just more efficient to use a technique where your back is more flat, and probably the risk of injury is also probably lower in comparison to doing a deadlift with a very rounded back. So for me personally, I still have the tendency to round my back a bit too much for my taste, but that's something that I definitely have to work on. But I always find that towards like the first set is always a bit off, but then the second and third set are always feeling a lot better. But overall, I'm pretty happy with my performance on the RDL. It is a movement that feels quite strong for me, and I just enjoy doing it because it just feels great to have like a heavy barbell in your hands and then to move that around. Just feels good. And I think fun is just something very important when you're training. No matter how optimal the exercise is, if you're having fun with it, if you can progress with it, if you're willing to progress with it, I think it's a great movement for you, and you should definitely keep it in your program. As long as it doesn't hurt you. That's always the most important thing. Longevity is always something that should be a top priority for everyone. So for the next time, I'm probably gonna start with the same weight. So I'm gonna start with the 105 kg for the first set and then see how that feels. And if it feels good, then I will up the weight, and if not, I will just stick with the weight. So with progression, yes, it's definitely important to increase the weight over time, increase the repetitions over time, but your technique should not suffer from that, and it should always feel safe. So if you're not confident enough to move more weight, don't move more weight. Sometimes you have to push through, sometimes you have to push through that confidence barrier. But I would say with something like the RDL or deadlifts in general, I would just be a little bit more careful and just listen more to your body. And like I said, if you have any tips for the remaining deadlifts, please share them down below in the comment section. I think that would help me out a lot, and probably also a lot of other people. It's kind of hard to talk about training while also trying to cook, but I'm gonna make it work. So after the remaining deadlifts, I did Bulgarian split squats. So here I did, I think, 3 sets of 10 with 30 kg dumbbells, so in total 60 kg of extra weight for RPE of, I think, 7 to 8 as well. And those move pretty well as well, I guess. So the Bulgarian split squats is hands down just, I think, my favorite lower body movement. I've always been training at home just with like dumbbells and a weighted vest, and the Bulgarian split squat has been my main lower body compound movement, and it's responsible for most of my quad and glute gains. So when I do the movement, I don't really focus on biasing either like the quads or the glutes. So I treat this movement more as a complete leg developer for both the quads and the glutes. So that's how I like to do it. I think there's nothing wrong with like trying to bias either the quads or the glutes, but for me it just feels better if I just choose a technique which works for me, which feels good, where I'm strong at, and just go with that. And one little tip for the Bulgarian split squat. The Bulgarian split squat is an unilateral movement, which means we are biasing the front leg and the front glute, but don't neglect the back leg. Yeah, we're biasing the front leg, but there's also a lot of things happening at the back leg. So if you look at what is happening at the back leg, we are getting a nice stretch on our quads, and it's basically like a reverse Nordic or a sissy squat. Because I find a lot of people that really try to focus only on the front leg and do nothing with the rear leg, and that's why it's like hard to stabilize, they lose their balance, and it just makes the movement just a bit more, I would say, just inefficient. Focus on the front leg, but also use the back leg. So after the Bulgarian split squats, so the RDL and the Bulgarian split squats were my like heavy compound leg movements for the day. And then I continued with, I did leg curls and leg extension for 3 sets of 20 repetitions for RPE 10. And what I did is that I chose a weight for both of the movements which I can't do for 20 reps. I went to failure on the set, then I rested for 5 to 10 seconds or 5 to 15 seconds, went again to failure, rested 5 to 10 seconds, and went again, till I reached the 20 repetitions. That was really brutal, especially doing that for 3 sets. So that's really a nice way just to push your quads and your hamstrings completely to failure and beyond failure, and just really understand what pain feels like, basically. And that's why I really like to use machines or just stable movements, especially for the lower body, because there are basically no excuses. So you are sitting down, you're stabilized, there's no balance. You can just really focus on pushing your quads and your hamstrings to failure, and there's nothing else that you have to worry about. If you're doing something like a split squat, a lunge, or any other like free weight squat, yeah, you can always use like the excuse of, yeah, I lost the balance, I couldn't stabilize anymore, etc. But with machines like leg extensions and leg curls, there's no excuses. You just basically can push to failure, and probably also should push really to failure with these movements. Especially with the leg extensions and leg curls, or just like in general more isolated movements, you can push them to failure. They're not that fatiguing like a barbell squat or Romanian deadlift. So you can, and I would say that you probably also should push these to failure, just so that you can get more out of them. And it also teaches you how to push to failure, because I find that's especially a skill that developed for me in the last couple of months and also probably last year. It's just the understanding of what pushing to failure really means and how to do that. That is a skill in and of itself. It's like one thing to just say, oh yeah, I push to failure all the time, and it's another thing to do it. And like some machine movements, some isolation movements, with those you can really practice the skill of pushing close to failure, which I think is really important. So after the leg extensions and the leg curls, I also did some Roman chair leg raises and some calf raises for the core and the calves, but I wasn't able to film them because my camera had no battery left. So yeah, that was basically the whole workout. And yeah, one more thing that I want to add, just as a little personal thing. Don't be afraid to look a little bit stupid when you're doing something in the gym, or when you're doing something for the first time in the gym. I really have to like learn the basic movement patterns that you can do in the weightlifting world. And sometimes my technique might look a little bit off, it might look a little bit weird. I still have to kind of like figure out what the best setup is for some stuff, especially for like machines. So today I actually wanted to do the seated leg curl, but I just couldn't figure out the setup. But that's why I went with the lying leg curl. And even with that one, it took me quite a while till I had like the setup down. So this might just look like a little bit weird from the outside, because you see this person who spends like 10 minutes on trying to figure out how to use that machine, how to set it up. And yeah, this might look like a little weird from the outside, but just don't care about that. The person who's eager to learn is always better off than the person who's trying to avoid to look stupid. So there's nothing wrong with learning. It is a process in and of itself. Just try to learn basically, and don't be afraid to look a little bit weird or to look a little bit stupid, and just don't care what others think about you in the gym basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Final note on the workout, I would give my workout, I would say like I guess 7.5 out of 10. So pretty good workout, and yeah, definitely looking forward to the next one. So right now I'm just gonna put the sauce on the sandwiches. We're putting in the tuna. So I'm just gonna try to not make a complete mess here. Let's put this onto a plate. That's one. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. Let's just ignore the messy space over here for now. So that is basically the final result. Let me just get a good shot. So yeah, tuna sandwich, tuna cooked in a pan with onions, and then a sauce out of skyr, soy sauce, salt, pepper, cucumber and tomatoes, and a baguette. Yeah, let's have a little bit of a taste test before I start to clean up here, because it does look a little bit like a mess in this kitchen right now, which I don't like. So let's have a good bite. Really good. Yeah, definitely very tasty. I would even say that it doesn't taste better than the chicken sandwich which we made last time, but it looks better. And I will probably use the same bread the next time I do the chicken sandwich, because the bread is also very nice. Okay, So, I hope you can see me. I'm just gonna dive down. So that was basically it for today. So we made pancakes in the morning, had a little car chat, trained legs, and now we made our lunch. If you enjoyed this vlog, I would highly appreciate if you pressed the like button and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to share your feedback and thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think of today's AJ cooking journal and of today's leg day. And I will see you next time. Much love and see you on level 100. Peace.